Hey, good morning, y'all. Welcome to another episode of a Holy Rust Revival. You know you're getting older when you enjoy getting up early in the morning, or maybe you're already up. I don't know which it is. But the morning time, oh, that is my favorite part of the day when the sun is coming up. And I enjoy beautiful sunsets too. Of course, I enjoy everything in between a sunrise and sunset, but it's just something special about the sun coming up on a new day. I'm going to shut my mouth for just a second and just listen. Isn't there just something special about waking up with the birds and hearing the birds sing? And they realize that today is so much potential. And speaking of potential, we got to do something today. Um, there's spotty showers starting about midday. I've been real busy building a barn and doing various other things, and I haven't had time to put my potatoes and corn seed in the ground. So we're going to do that this morning, and we're going to do something very special. We're going to use Tristan's tractor. In one of the previous episodes, you may remember, we took an old, I say we, my brother and I, my brother received an old Farmall Cub tractor for Christmas for Tristan because he loves tractors. And he put new paint on it and restored it, and then brought it down to the farm to me to get running again. And we rewired it and got the thing running, and we presented the tractor to him. And man, was Tristan excited about his tractor. And Uncle Rob promised Tristan that he would turn dirt with it and send him a video of his tractor actually turning dirt. So we're going to do that this morning. Struggled last night in the shop because all the toolbars and everything else had been stored in a stack with that tractor for, I'm going to say, decades. There's no way that any of those nuts have turned in decades, and they've been sitting out in the rain and the weather. Oh, it was a challenge getting the tool post put on and getting everything moving again. Had to use a lot of heat with the torch to get the nuts loose. Every one, not even one of them would turn. And about 10 nuts I had to just put excessive heat on to get off to keep from destroying the nut and the bolt itself. So there's a struggle getting to this point, but man, is it worth it. And I'm going to cut the camera, keep enjoying this beautiful morning for just a minute. And we're going to go down and turn a little dirt with Tristan's tractor and get some corn and potatoes in the ground. Ooh, I hope you enjoy this as much as I will. Hey, good morning. We're ready to turn dirt in Tristan's tractor. I'm almost a little bit too scared to use this pretty tractor because I don't want to get any dirt on it. But we got to turn some dirt, right, Tristan? Hey, before we get started though, let's have a little controversial topic, okay? I know a lot of the old farmers said you either had to be green or you had to be red. And here we've got both of them together. So let's talk about that for just a minute. Both of these tractors are 1950 models. You can tell the Cub is a 49 to 50 because of this wire mesh grill. This is a 1950 John Deere M. Both of them have about 12 to 15 horsepower, okay? They're both about the same style and type of tractors. This one has 4 cylinders. This one only has 2 cylinders. And you would think that this one would have a little more power having 4 cylinders versus 2. However, here's the controversial topic, okay? Should you be red or should you be green? Well, do you want my opinion? My opinion is you need both. These two tractors complement each other very well. It is my opinion that even though these have 4 cylinders and they're kind of small, they're smaller cylinders, but there's 4 of them. This one has 2 cylinders, but they're bigger cylinders. I mean, they are big old cylinders with long strokes. So what that equates to is this. This one has more torque. This one might have slightly a little more horsepower, but torque is where it comes in when you're pulling a plow. And that's what we do here. The way these two complement each other, and by the way, I feel like this one has more finesse. This one's a bull in a china shop. This one has more finesse to it. So I use this one to do the initial plowing, and I'll take you over there in just a moment and show you what we've done so far with the John Deere M. So I use this for more of the grunt work, and I use this for more of the putting the dirt back where it belongs, kind of sort of working around the plants and weeding and stuff like that. So this one is more finesse, this one is more grunt, if that makes sense. So together, both red and green are a beautiful package. Braden, come on over here and let me show you what we've done so far in the garden. So I've dug 4 rows, and look at the plow real quick. This is the middle buster that goes behind the John Deere M. Now originally the John Deere M did not have a 3-point hitch on there, but I designed a 3-point hitch so I could use more implements on the back of this tractor. So I had to recreate something for this middle buster to be able to work. But basically I go down through there and cut 2 rows with this middle buster, and the reason you want to do that, you want to get down in the dirt and get past what we've tilled up and kind of pull the soil and get it looser with these middle busters. Okay, so that's what we've done so far. So my first pass with the John Deere M, I cut these 2 rows, all right? And then when I get down to the other end, I put my tire in this row, and it kind of cuts this row again, but cuts another row. Then I spin around and put my tire in that row. So you can see they're perfect parallel rows all the way down because of putting the tire in that other row. So isn't that beautiful how those trenches have been cut? So yesterday afternoon we cut these trenches with the John Deere M. Then we put fertilizer in the trenches. Then we came back with some gypsum. Gypsum? I guess that's the stuff that's in drywall. I don't know. But it's supposed to sweeten the soil and add a little more pH to the soil as well. So that's where we left it at sunset yesterday afternoon. So now I'm going to take Tristan's tractor with the hillers on there, and I'm basically going to put the hillers in these rows and pull this dirt back over on top of that fertilizer. And we're going to put, after that, a little small plow on there and open the row back up and drop our seed and potatoes in there, and then come back with some scratchers on the cub and cover that dirt over. And then we'll have everything planted and ready to grow for the rain that's coming in later on today. Okay, so we have a little problem on our first little debut run. This is bad on these old Cubs. Braden, get in here. You see these little notches? That's what holds the throttle in place. It's spring loaded here, but these little notches are worn off from use over the years. And what's supposed to happen is this notch in the lever is supposed to catch in those little notches, but it doesn't catch. And I'm having to hold this with my hand, and I can't adjust my up and down of my lift as a result of having to hold this. So we're going to do a Boy Scout knot. Let's see, 2 half hitches maybe right here. What do you think, Brady? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do 2 half hitches. 1. And let me get a little more string out here. We got plenty. 1. And then come over here and let's do another. Okay. So that's going to let us pull tight on that lever right there. Then, where am I going to tie to now? This is farm boy engineering. Let's go right there. How about that? Now let's do a taut line one more time. So I need to start with my loop a little further down right here. Okay, 1 hitch, 2 hitch, and 3 hitch. Right there. Okay. You see it coming together? Okay, let's tighten up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, that's gonna hold our throttle in place, okay? Now I can adjust this without having to hold my throttle. But as soon as I can, I'll order this. This can be replaced very easy, Tristan, so that's not gonna be any problem. Isn't that pretty rows? Aren't those pretty rows down through there? A little crooked because I was focused more on holding my throttle than I was actually focusing going down the road. So now I'm gonna give you a perspective of the driver's position. So basically, do you see how that steering rod is looking straight down that row right there? This is actually the center of the tractor. You may be able to tell that the hood is offset from the center. And the reason for that is on these old tractors is for you to be able to see your row a whole lot better. So what I tend to do is I look down this rod right here and put it right in that trench. And if you keep that rod in that trench and not veer side to side, it'll make a very pretty row. Okay, let me try my best to drive this thing and give you driver perspective, Tristan. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Make sure we're in neutral, cut our key on, pull our starter. Come on. Okay. Let's get everything adjusted. See that? Up and down. All right, we're gonna run 2nd gear. Full throttle. Let's let it rip, Tater Chip. There we go. We're turning dirt with Tristan's tractor. Let's do one more row. Let's cover our last row up and we'll get our next implement on. Look at that pretty row you just made, Tristan. Woo, look at that. 1, 2, 3. This is our last row to cover up. Are you ready? All right, let's go. Don't hit that post up there. Good job, Tristan. You've just rode up 4 rows, and that took all of, well, it would have only taken about 5 minutes if you and I hadn't done it together. But I'm glad that we got to enjoy turning dirt for the very first time with your tractor together. So the next thing we're going to do is put a little small plow in the center and run right down the middle of these rows and open the rows back up, okay? So that we can drop our seeds and our potatoes in there. And then we're gonna put some scratchers on and kind of cover everything up and smooth it out, and everything will be ready to grow. Tristan, that's what I call hillers. That's what we just used to hill up those rows. And these were those old nasty nuts I was telling you about last night that were so hard to turn. But now Uncle Rob has put oil on them, and they're turning very, very easy this morning. So what we got to do is we've got to drop these and put a little plow on. And I'll show you how easy it is to drop all this. You just take that toolbar, slip it out, and let's go around to the other side and get the other hiller off. And by the way, that's about the only wrench you need to work on your tractor. All of these nuts on here are square nuts, and a wrench won't fit, but look, as long as the guy has an adjustable wrench on there, everything's gonna be fine. Okay. All right, let's take these out. Okay. Hey, I got a surprise for Tristan. Guess who's here? Guess who's here? Look at him. Hey, Daddy's here, Tristan, and he's gonna watch us open these rows up. All right. Okay. So what we have here is a little small plow. After we've already healed up our rows, we're gonna open the rows back up so that we can drop our seed in. We're gonna do it with this little plow. Okay. So remember, I told you the center of the tractor is right here, where that steering shaft is. So when I put that plow in, it's going to be just about right, perfect in the center of that tractor. Get up here, Braden. So look down that shaft. Does it look like the center of that plow is going up that shaft? Need to go in a little, out a little. Right there? Okay. All right, let's tighten her down. Now, Uncle John, boy, it was a struggle getting all these tool posts on last night. My word. I guess all this stuff had been sitting in a pile and rained on and rust for years. I had to use all kind of heat to get these nuts and bolts working again, but all of the original bolts have been saved and everything is working fine this morning. Okay, all right, let's open these rows back up. So basically, Tristan, what we've done is we've covered the hills back up, okay? All of that fertilizer and gypsum that we put down in the rows is now mixed up in that soil really well. And going in and blowing the rows back open to put the seed in there, okay? So it's gonna be, we're not gonna be putting our seed right down on the fertilizer since everything is mixed up very well. All right, let me try to give you driver perspective of us. So old Braden down there is planting corn seed. He's dropping 1 or 2 to a row every foot or so. And I am dropping potato slips. You can see where I'm dropping them in the ground about every, I don't know, 1.5 feet, 2 feet. So these 2 rows here are potatoes, that's gonna be corn. Every country boy can live off those 2 things, right? Okay, Tristan, let's take off our opening plow and put on what I call scratchers, okay? These probably have a more technical term, but Uncle Rob doesn't know what it is. They scratch the dirt, and that's what they do, so that's why I call them scratchers. Used to, I would like for there to be a big old hill out there, and at this point, I would have put the hillers back on and thrown that dirt back on top of each other, you know, and made an even bigger hill. But I have learned over time to kind of knock the hill down at the very beginning of the season, because as grass grows in the garden, I can take these scratchers and the hillers and turn the dirt over and make that hill larger and bigger. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the scratchers to actually knock the hill down, but yet cover up the seed at the same time, if that makes sense. So we're going to start out with a very low hill so that when weeds start to grow in the garden, I can use other things to throw the dirt over on top of the weeds. So let's take off our plow, okay? It's not too hard. Like I said, got these old square nuts that you use this adjustable wrench for. That slides out. Okay, comes out. Now these are a little tricky to get in there, because you have to hold it up and make sure the square tube is in there at the same time. And it's a little heavy. It's a little heavy. Now, there's the center line of our tractor, and I want the center line of the plow not to be on the center, because I want about 6 inches between my 2 scratchers. So what this is going to do is going to throw dirt over in that hill where those seeds are. So that looks about right. Let's tighten that down. And I'm going to be honest with you, I usually leave these on most of the season after we get through planting, because these are really good for running right down the road and cultivating the weeds. Okay, let's put the other side on. Loosen these up really good. Okay. Kind of heavy. Okay. These are going to need to be, that tool post is going to need to be further out, because remember the center of the tractor is over there. So let's see how that looks once we tighten up. it's pulling up pretty good right there. I want about 6 inches between those two scratchers. Okay, let's look from the front and see how it looks. Okay, they're kind of in the center of the tractor. It looked to me like this scratcher needed rotating just a little bit. Did y'all notice that? Looks like I got too much of an angle here. Let me, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. There we go. There, does that look a little straighter on? Okay, I think it does from this direction. Okay, everything is tight. So, what's going to happen is these little scratchers are going to be, the seed are going to be right in here, and these scratchers are going to throw the dirt over on top of the seed, and these other scratchers are going to kind of knock the hill down. So it's almost going to be level by the time we get done. So let's get our tractor started and get some dirt turning. Okay, I got to adjust the scratchers just a little bit. They're a little bit too close together, and what's happening is the seeds are turning up in the dirt as it's turning over, and that's perfect for corn seeds. That was absolutely perfect. You also might see that I made a little oopsie right there. You see that, Braden? What happened is the scratchers got some old grass in there, and it pulled that grass with it. So whenever you use these scratchers, unless you're tilling the actual grass and getting the grass out of the garden, it clumps up in there. So you got to be careful of that. So once I set it up and then redid it, it did fine in the clean dirt. But with potatoes, the potatoes have got to stay with the cut side down and the little sprouts up, okay? And I'm afraid if the scratchers are this close together, the dirt's going to turn the potatoes up and over. So I'm going to widen the scratchers out to make sure that the dirt gets on top of the potatoes, but it doesn't turn the potato over, if that makes sense. So let me hop down and move our scratchers out just a little bit. Okay, this one's not going to move much, but it'll move just a little. And then I'm going to move the other side just a little. I don't want to move them too much because I want to make sure the dirt gets over the potatoes but doesn't turn the potatoes over. Okay. enough. Okay. All right. Now, on the other ones, I actually did it from the tractor, but Braden, I'm going to ask that you hold the camera again on this one. I've got to stay perfectly in the center of that row, because if I get off like I've been doing with the camera, I'm going to mess up some potatoes. So I'm not going to give you a driver perspective of this one. Braden's just going to get out there and give you some good video standing from the ground, if that's okay. I hope you understand. Okay, Tristan, your tractor ran perfectly this morning. It did everything like it was supposed to do without one flaw whatsoever. And I gotta say, the steering is tight. There's no smoke coming out of the exhaust. It's a beautiful tractor. There's nothing wrong with this tractor, and it's a blessing to have here on the farm. So you make sure you come back and let's ride that thing again with Uncle Rob, okay? Well, what's the future of Tristan's tractor? Well, we're gonna take some of this stuff off because all of these arms and whatnot just look kind of bad on this pretty tractor. We're gonna clean all this up, okay? Get it greased up good, clean it up. We know that it works well. And ultimately, between the two cub tractors that we have here on the farm, I want to put the planter and the fertilizer hopper on one of the tractors and just leave it on there because it takes so much work to move this stuff around. It would be nice to have a tractor dedicated just for a planter. And by the way, if the planter were on here, everything that we just did could have been done in one pass instead of the 4 or 5 passes that we did using all of these different things. So probably this tractor is going to have the planter put on it and then paint that planter up and make it look really nice. So Tristan, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the tractor. It has done great this morning. And later on, we're going to have some corn and potatoes for lunch. And you've got to come and enjoy some of those corn and potatoes. Every country boy needs that in his belly. All right, y'all. God bless. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Holy Rust Revival. This is one in which it went all the way from rust to being very productive again. Take care. Thank you so much for watching.